The meeting is live, sir.
Welcome everyone to the Williamsport City Council meeting of Thursday, September 24th, 2020, a little past 6:30 p.m. We're meeting remotely again tonight. We're going to move into the agenda. Approval of City Council minutes dated September 10th, 2020. Is there a motion in a second?
So move.
Second.
There's a motion in a second. Are there any corrections or questions about the minutes? Hearing and seeing none, Mrs. Frank on the motion, please.
Mr. Yoder,
Yes.
Mr. Mack,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Mr. Banks,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Allison.
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Mrs. Frank. I should note at this point that everyone from council is here, as well as some administration, and the mayor and the chief of police will be joining us soon. Item 2, limited courtesy of the floor. We've had no requests tonight. Item 3, an ordinance on their editing and inclusion of all new ordinances. So, Mrs. Frank, would you read that in short form, please?
An ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as parts of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of Williamsport, Pennsylvania in final reading.
Thank you, Mrs. Frank. We did pass this on first reading 2 weeks ago. Is there a motion tonight?
So move.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Are there any more discussion? I don't think we had much of a discussion the first time around, so I doubt if there's anything to be added, but does anybody have anything to say? Hearing none, Mrs. Frank on the motion, please.
Mr. Yoder,
Yes.
Mr. Mack,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Mr. Banks,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Allison.
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Mrs. Frank. We'll move to item 4, a resolution on a fire prevention grant. Would you read that in short form, please, Mrs. Frank?
Resolution authorizing the acceptance of a fiscal year 2019 fire prevention and safety grant.
Thank you, Mrs. Frank. Is there a motion in a second?
So move.
So
move.
There was a lot there. Did you get 2 of those, Mrs. Frank?
I did.
Okay. Who did you have for the motion and who did you have for the second?
I had Mr. Yoder and I think Mr. Pelisi was.
Okay. Chief Killian, welcome tonight.
Good evening. So the resolution before you is to authorize the acceptance of the fiscal year 2019 fire prevention and safety grant. It's with the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA in the amount of $49,059.08 with a city contribution of $2,452.95. This was a competitive grant process, and we are very excited to have received this grant to help us kick off our Williamsport Safe smoke alarm campaign. This grant funding will help us through the first year of the campaign target our low income and at-risk neighborhoods. Has a 1-year period of performance. The local match was budgeted. Actually, Mr. Pavlak and I have set aside some money in our support equipment line item every year for potential grant matching funds. So there is budgeted dollars to cover the local share. And the money will be used to purchase long life smoke alarms, outreach materials, advertising materials, and overtime expenses for our personnel to go through our first year of our campaign and target our owner-occupied homes in some specific city neighborhoods. And this was reviewed in Finance Committee and passed on to council with a positive recommendation.
Thank you, Chief. It was reviewed in finance. Ms. Neely?
Yes, it was reviewed in finance and as Chief Killian mentioned, forwarded to the council with a positive recommendation. There actually was very little discussion on this in finance. It's fairly cut and dried. The match is relatively minor and already accounted for because as Chief Killian said, he and Joe Pavlak have been squirreling away a couple thousand here and a couple thousand there in kind of a matching grant line item. Obviously what we're intending to put the grant toward will be exceptionally helpful to the community. Chief Killian said that they're hoping to be able to kind of accomplish this distribution and education within the at-risk community with only this grant. But obviously, if it's not sufficient, we will hopefully go back for more funds here over the next couple of years. And that's everything, Randy, unless anyone else from finance can add anything.
Councilwoman Katz.
The one thing that we did discuss is that the fire department will actually put in the smoke alarms. They're just not going to hand them out because they found in the past that they weren't put into place where they should be. And I think that's the smartest thing to do at this point.
Yeah, if I could add to what Ms. Katz said, we've been handing smoke alarms out for decades, really. And what we found, unfortunately, is a lot of the smoke alarms that we hand out will go to homes maybe later on different incidents, and the smoke alarms were never installed. So we took the stance here within the past year that we will no longer hand someone a smoke alarm. If one of our residents needs a smoke alarm, we'll go to their home and we'll install it and make sure it's installed correctly and pass on some fire safety information. So yeah, this campaign and our Williamsport Safe campaign, which is our citywide smoke alarm initiative, will be a door-to-door campaign where we'll physically be knocking on your door, asking if you have smoke alarms. If you don't, we will install them and we'll pass on some fire safety information and do a home fire safety inspection. So we're excited to get out in the community and get that process underway.
Thank you, Chief. Other questions from council or comments? Mr. Palizzi.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Chief, are you guys gonna just be going door to door knocking on residences, or are you gonna be contacting the property owners themselves for, say, landlords that own multiple properties in those areas? Are you gonna be reaching out to them? Or just door knock?
So our campaign is specifically targeting owner-occupied residences. And the reason we're doing that is because the rental properties are covered under the codes department rental property inspections. So, every 4 years with the codes rotation, they get a rental property inspection. They have to have working smoke alarms, et cetera. So from our experience, we have had landlords come to us and try to get free smoke alarms, but our responsibility is for the owner occupied specifically because it's the landlord's responsibility to put the smoke alarms in their residences. However, if in the process of doing our campaign we come across rental properties, then we'll gather that information. If we see any deficiencies, we'll forward that to codes. And one thing that's been stressed to our people is that we won't let any property go with no smoke alarms. So even if it is a rental property, if there's no working smoke alarms, we'll install them and then we'll follow up with the codes process from there.
Okay. Thanks, Chief. I see in here that you guys are going to be able to purchase over 1,000 smoke detectors, that's absolutely great. All right, that's all. Thank you.
I had a question, Chief. What brand are they, or do you have anything specified there? And I assume they're battery operated, not hardwired.
That's correct. They are battery operated. We don't have a brand yet. We're shopping right now. We're getting quotes, trying to work with some local companies. Part of this And what we're really happy about with this program is we can target our local vendors and work with them, some of our hardware stores. So we don't have a brand yet. We're not even 100% sure who we're going to get them from yet, but they will all be 10-year sealed lithium ion alarms, which are not hardwired. However, they're long life alarms. They don't require the typical 9-volt battery, that you have to change every time you change your clocks. So that's all we've been installing for the last several years now. They're a little more expensive, but we can guarantee when we put that alarm up and it's functioning, unless somebody tampers with it or takes it down, for 10 years, that alarm is good to go.
Great. And a related item would be fire extinguishers. And I know if you have a rental and also for homeowners, sometimes the homeowner's insurance company requests or requires, especially in rental properties, that there be correctly rated fire extinguishers on site. Do we suggest that to homeowners when we talk about smoke alarms as well?
Sure. So we discuss that with them. We take fire extinguisher information with us. There's, the specifics code related are a little different depending on each type of occupancy. So, for normal residential owner occupied properties, we definitely recommend them, but there's an important education component that comes along with that, how to use them.
Right.
And to be quite honest with you, our message typically is, we want you to get out of your house. If there's a fire, we want you to get outside. We don't want you necessarily, trying to extinguish a fire unless you are 100% certain you can, you know how to use the extinguisher. So yeah, we, all of that, our fire prevention efforts are holistic in nature. So we try to address multiple different avenues. It's not just smoke alarm safety. It's an entire program with fire extinguisher training associated with that. And we have some really neat new technologies, digital fire extinguisher trainer, where we actually have essentially a large computer screen and a fire extinguisher with a laser on the end that we can take that out and do outreach and training with. So yeah, all those components are addressed in the program.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thanks, Chief. Vince, do you have another question?
No, just one more. I guess it's a question for the chief, but kind of a comment. I'm looking through here. With this grant money, we're also going to be able to purchase smoke alarms for members of the community that may be deaf or hard of hearing, bed shaker, strobe light, fire alarms. Is that right?
Yes, sir. So we received several, close to a decade ago, really, we received some grants for deaf and hard of hearing smoke alarms. We've been installing them for probably the last 10 or 15 years. We're currently out of them. They're a little pricey. So it's not something that we typically budget for. That's something normally we work with the community on some grant funding for. So we're excited, to get at least 25 of them. Again, we're shopping for those now. We believe the prices that we got, we can purchase some more. So we'll be working with the Center for Independent Living and some of our other community members on folks who need those. And we do the same thing. We go out and install those. Obviously not as regularly as normal smoke alarms, but we do install those, several of those per year, and that involves the strobe light alarms and the bed shakers.
Any other questions for the chief tonight? Hearing none. Mrs. Frank on the motion.
Mr. Yoder,
Yes.
Mr. Mack,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz, Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Mr. Banks,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Alice.
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Mrs. Frank. And thank you, Chief Killian. Really appreciate you heading this up.
Thank you.
We'll move to item 5, our minimal municipal obligation resolution. Would you read that in short form, please, Mrs. Frank?
Resolution, minimum municipal obligation for the year ending 2021.
Thank you, Mrs. Frank. Is there a motion and a second?
So move.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Welcome, Mr. Pavlik.
Good evening. The resolution before you is an annual resolution to approve the city's 2021 minimum municipal obligation. According to Act 205, the city every year by September 30th is required to adopt their MMO to be included in the following year's budget. This year's MMO is $5,126,692 for the city's 3 pension plans. That shows an increase of $757,918 over the 2020 MMO. For the most part, the normal cost in the MMO calculation remains stable for all 3 plans. But due to investment losses and assumption changes within the plans, the amortization component of the MMOs have increased, therefore increasing the MMO. There were investment losses on all 3 plans relating to the assumed interest rates for police and O&E. The assumed rate was 7.75, and then for the fire plan, it was 7.25. We've decreased that assumption upon the advice of Wells Fargo and CS McKee during our quarterly pension reviews. There were some other items, including interpretation of COLA language in the fire pension, and some retirements without the pensions that were higher than expected that caused the increase in the 3 pension MMOs. In the police MMO, an expiring amortization base in 2020 helped offset the amortization increases, therefore keeping that MMO pretty stable from 2020 to 2021. The increases that we've seen in the fire and O&E we're expecting could be reduced due to some expiring amortization bases in those plans coming in 2022. With that, this was reviewed by the Finance Committee at their meeting on Tuesday and brought to the full body of council.
Thank you, Mr. Pavlik. Ms. Mealy, in Finance?
This was reviewed by the Finance Committee, lamented somewhat, and then forwarded to the full body of council with a positive recommendation. We see this item every year. Although it's presented to council for a vote, it's not truly optional. This is the minimum amount that we need to pay into our pension plan to not only pay for our existing pensions, but pay on a sort of a mortgage taken out by our forebears on city council when they enacted pension plans within our unions, but didn't fund them out of their budgets at the time. So we're, you know, as are most communities throughout the Commonwealth and across the country, we're sort of playing catch up on our pension costs, and we're hobbled even further in that by the fact that the market has been underperforming and is expected to continue underperforming. So we count on a certain amount of growth to enable us to fully fund our pension plans, and we've not been seeing that. That said, we did at least take the step last year of reducing the amount that we're expecting to receive in return, which means that the money that we're putting into the pension accounts is we're putting more money in, but at least we know that we're coming closer to being fully funded. Our funds, it seems to me, Joe, you said were 81%, 82%, 85% funded, which is pretty good for the municipality in Central PA. That noted, I always feel compelled to make the comment that Dr. Williamson would have made if he were still serving with us on council, which is that while we have been over the course of the last couple of decades addressing pension shortfalls in the city, what we have not addressed, have never made a move to address, is the other post-employment benefits, the health care and other things that we offer to our employees when they retire. As we see every year in our audit, that is a mounting number. And like any number of municipalities around the Commonwealth and around the country, we're not acting at all to take a chunk out of that. We know, every year this is the minimum municipal obligation. We could always elect to put more money into our pensions or to begin putting money into our other post-employment benefit obligations. But as we discuss every year in November, money is tight, and there's never really the political will to take that step. That said, as I noted, Finance forwarded this to the full body of council with a positive recommendation.
Thank you, Neely. Comments tonight from anybody on finance? Or anyone on council? Yes, it's not a,
I think Liz summed it up.
yeah, it's not a very inviting subject. Mr. Pavlik, you may have mentioned how much we could expect from the state.
We budgeted 1.25 million. The prior year, it came in at 1.3. It's not something that's related to the state's general fund, so we can hopefully expect to receive something comparable, but those numbers have not been released as of today.
So that would reduce our MMO to
well, the number that we're talking now is going to actually reduce the 2020 MMO.
right.
We have to see what comes in next year to reduce the 5.1 for 2021.
Right. But that reduction will take us down possibly to 3 million for 2020 in that neighborhood.
More like
if it comes in at the 1.3, it'd be a little over 3 million. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's a fact of life, unfortunately. We were doing better in our percentage of being fully funded in the stock market, but of course everything took a turn there, and that's just everybody's under the same constrictions. So hearing no other comments, Mrs. Frank, on the motion, please.
Mr. Yoder,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Mr. Banks,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
yes.
Mr. Allison.
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Mrs. Frank. Okay, we'll move to item 6. Resolution approving an agreement with the city and the FOP. Mrs. Frank, would you read that in short form, please?
Resolution approving an agreement between the City of Williamsport, FOP Lodge number 29, and officer.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Frank. Is there a motion on this in a second?
So move.
Second.
Motion in a second. Chief Hagan.
Good evening, President Allison, Vice President Mealy, and members of council. Council is aware of this agreement and its contents. It provides for those conditions that would be normal under any circumstances and nothing more. We're asking for your support and your vote so that we can sign off on this agreement and execute. Thank you.
You're welcome, Chief. Thank you. We have a motion and a second and an item on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing and seeing none. Mrs. Frank, on the motion, please.
Mr. Yoder,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Mr. Banks,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Allison.
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Mrs. Frank. We'll move to item 7, a memorandum of agreement with the city and the county. Would you read that in short form, please, Mrs. Frank?
Resolution authorizing a memorandum of agreement between the City of Williamsport and Lycoming County.
Thank you. Is there a motion and a second from council on that tonight?
So moved.
second,
There's a motion and a second. This was reviewed in finance. But Chief Hagan,
Public safety, wasn't it?
oh, public safety, that's right. Chief Hagan, would you address it, please? Thank you.
Yes. The resolution before you authorizes a memorandum of agreement between the city of Williamsport and Lycoming County. The county was generous enough to purchase a fingerprint machine to replace our old one and to pay for the maintenance of that machine. This agreement or its beginnings started last year with an effort to set up, or at least the idea of setting up a part-time processing center here at City Hall in our existing booking room within the Bureau of Police. The processing center will operate from 4 to 8 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and will supplement the existing processing center in Old Lycoming Township. This will greatly assist us since our criminal process in Pennsylvania begins on paper with the actual fingerprinting. If a person is not fingerprinted, then the charges don't show on their criminal history. So this is a critical point of the criminal justice system. Cases cannot be tracked, and dispositions cannot be imposed without this happening. There's a huge backlog, believe it or not, on fingerprinting. And so having this part-time processing center here at City Hall, manned by county employees here part-time, will allow for us to relieve some of that backlog, work with our friends and partners in the county as a team, and I think it will be much more efficient than trying to send everyone over to Old Lycoming except for the felony arrests that we make. The booking room itself also is being renovated, and we expect additional equipment to be purchased by the county from their processing center account. They have a lot of money in that account from fees paid for that service. So they are renovating it. It's underway now. City highway workers are doing some of the work now, and we expect it to be done in the near future, and for the part-time center to open. So we're excited about the agreement. There was some discussion about indemnification and documenting that between the city and the county. And the decision, after speaking with Jill Nagy and J. David Smith, was to handle that through a side letter of agreement. The county already passed this agreement and signed off in early September. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Hagan. This was reviewed in public safety. Councilwoman Katz.
yes, and this was passed on to the full body of council with a positive recommendation. One thing everybody should be aware of, this is not costing the city any money at all. This is all coming through the county, including the person who's going to be working part-time in the city. It has nothing to do with any of our police officers or any of our city employees. The only thing that is being done by the city is, of course, as the chief said, is the room itself that is being done, which is saving money in all aspects, which I think is commendable in our streets and parks. To have this also being processed 2 evenings a week from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., I think is also a good idea. Everybody cannot work, and it's not able to get fingerprinted during the course of the day sometimes. And to have evening hours, I think is very beneficial. I think everybody thinks maybe fingerprinting is just for criminals. There are so many other people that need to be fingerprinted for so many other reasons. And So I was really pleased to see that there were going to be evening hours. And I think this will be able for the county to catch up, having Old Lycoming and this in the city, in City Hall. I think this is going to help our police department tremendously also. As the chief said, there is a backlog in this. Other than that, like I said, this was passed on with the full body of council with a positive recommendation.
Thank you, Councilwoman Katz. Any comments from other members of the committee or anyone on council tonight? I hear and see none, and I think we're all in agreement, and we thank you, Chief Hagan. It's a good, I see this as a small step towards the regionalization and coming together in a cooperative effort between different bodies of government involved in public safety. So it's a big positive there as well. Mrs. Frank will have the vote, please, on the motion.
Mr. Yoder,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Mr. Banks,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Alice.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Mrs. Frank. And I should add, we're grateful to the county as well for partnering in this. Item 8, an amendment change order to resolution 8987. Would you read that into the record in short form, please, Mrs. Frank?
Resolution authorizing an amendment or change order to resolution 8987.
Thank you, Mrs. Frank. Is there a motion and second from council tonight?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Second. Chief Hagan.
Hello again. Before you is a resolution authorizing an amendment. The initial quote for our 3 vehicles that we purchased, Bob Fisher, was $141,396, and the total amount due now is $143,175.24. As the resolution states, a total increase of $1,779.24. This was due to upfitting costs being different from the original quote. The original quote had an approximate figure of $11,000 per vehicle for upfitting. When the upfitter got into it from TRM and Mr. Cooley went down to see him, items were identified that were unforeseen, involving mounts in each vehicle for equipment and wires and some older or damaged equipment that needed replaced, some restocking fees, sending some equipment back, and things like that, all added up to $1,779.24. So we are asking for you to approve this amendment to the original resolution from earlier this year, 8987, so that we can go ahead and make this payment. We are very pleased with our new Tahoes. They sit out back, at least a couple of them. Mr. Cooley is finding the time here to get them set up for our officers, and I believe he's completed 2. We welcome you to go out and check them out. They are larger than the normal patrol vehicles that we have, but they're very, very nice. The officers are pleased with them, and so are we. And so we want to get this bill paid and get these out on the road and start using them on a regular basis. This was taken before the Finance Committee and forwarded to the full body of council with the positive recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Hagan. Ms. Mealy, it was in finance.
Yes, this did come to the Finance Committee, and we did send it on with a positive recommendation. Obviously, it's understandable that sometimes the cost estimates that we make when we're preparing to execute something don't entirely line up with the costs that are incurred. Hopefully, one of these days it goes in the other direction and the cost goes down. But no, Finance sent this to the full body of council with a positive recommendation. It's less than less than 2% increase on the cost, less than 1%. So it was an understandable difference. Thanks very much, Randy.
Thank you, Ms. Nealon. Questions or comments from members of finance or anyone else? No, this is a purchase that we approved in last year's budget, and this is just a minor adjustment. So, Mrs. Frank, on the motion, please.
Mr. Yoder, Mr. Yoder,
Yes.
Mr. Mack,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Mr. Banks,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Allison.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Mrs. Frank. We'll move to item 9, certificate of appropriateness with Harb. Is there a motion in the second?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion in the second. One item is 820 West 3rd Street with sheeting and architectural shingles and repair of gutters. So it sounds like roof things. And item 3 is 332 Locust Street, slate repair and sounds like other and gutters. So it's roofing and those kinds of things there as well. Is there a discussion or comments from council tonight? Hearing and seeing none, we'll take a vote on the motion, Mrs. Frank.
Mr. Yoder, Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Mr. Banks,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Allison.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Mrs. Frank. We move to item 10, except for filing. The Public Works minutes of 6/9/20 and August 4th, 20. Veterans Memorial Park minutes of August 20. Harb minutes of 9 September 15th, 20, and Controller's report for April and May 2020. Is there a motion in the second to the council?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion in the second. Comments or questions from council members on these documents? Hearing and seeing none, Mrs. Frank, on the motion, please.
Mr. Yoder,
Yes.
Mr. Mackey,
Yes.
Mr. Pelisi,
Yes.
Mrs. Katz,
Yes.
Mr. Banks,
Yes.
Ms. Mealy,
Yes.
Mr. Allison.
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Mrs. Frank. We'll move to announcements. I want to announce that yesterday, council had an executive session regarding personnel matters. And tonight, after the adjournment of the meeting, we will be having another executive session to on public safety, some security confidential issues. Confidential security issues, rather. The next regularly scheduled city council meeting will be held on Thursday, October 8th, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. remotely. Upcoming meetings, Friday, September 25th, 11 a.m. ERC. 12 p.m. housing needs, that's been canceled. But there is an ERC meeting at 11. Tuesday, September 29th, 11 a.m. historic preservation. At 7 p.m. Citizens Corps. Tuesday, October 6th, 11:30 a.m. public safety meeting. 1 p.m. finance committee meeting and 2:30 p.m. public works meeting. And then we have our council meeting. Are there any comments from council tonight? I see none. Comments from the administration? And there's none from the administration. Are there any public comments tonight, Mr. White?
President Allison, there are no public comments.
Okay. Then I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Vince, you've been doing all the heavy lifting on the motions tonight. I figured I had to take some of the heat off of you.
I appreciate that very much. It's, one does what one can, but starting to get out of breath.